Hey everybody, welcome back to Shock and Sherlock. I'm your host Herschel Gillis, and today I'm back after a week and a half absence. It's been a week. Sickness, family matters, a wedding, banana box orders, just a lot. But I'm going to be doing 4 reviews um, very quickly. Um, Soon, covering the films of my favorite filmmaker in the underground horror scene. Um, and you might be saying, who is your favorite director? It's Jörg Buger, right? I know that I've shown my signed poster sometimes. I'm going to be doing a little collection overview video at some point on my Jörg Buger stuff because I have a lot, not just the movies, but I have pretty much every current release of all of them, including this one, Nekromantik on VHS, from Retro Release Video. Um, yeah, this one came out recently. Pre-ordered it as soon as it came up, and it's unfortunately out of stock. Not coming back in stock either. It was a limited run, sold out. But anyway, um, Necromantic is the topic of today's review, and it is, if you don't know, a 1987 uh, splatter black comedy, I would say, um, about a morgue worker, or not a morgue worker. He works at a street cleaning agency, and this guy works at a street cleaning agency, and he lives with a woman. One day, he picks up a body and decides to take it home, and they do relations with it. Um, and the woman eventually starts liking the corpse more, and then we're just taken away there. Now, a lot of people have probably heard of this one already. If you haven't seen it, number one, you should watch it. This movie's fantastic. Um, but another thing is, this one frequently pops up on the most disturbing movies of all time list whenever you see them, and I'm here to say that this movie is not disturbing at all. I mean, past the initial, topic, what we really get here is, though, is just a really gross black comedy, for the most part, and there's a lot of splatter and stuff, too. Um, but what sets Necromantic apart, and what I think keeps it relevant 30 years later, 30 plus years later now, is Bucherite's really heavy devotion to making a movie that's going to offend people. And he pushes a lot of boundaries in this, but he does so in a tongue-in-cheek manner. So it never takes itself seriously. So even the part with the the title, um, the title's reference to the reason why y'all clicked on this video. Um, it's not that bad. It's gross. There's eyeball sucking and stuff, and it's worth noting that the um, eyeballs were real, like sheep size, which makes it somehow even worse. But it's weirdly funny, and there's this pretty orchestral classical music playing over the entire scene, and yeah, there's some silly gore. I mean, you can tell this was made by amateur filmmakers at the time, but there's a charm to it because of that, and it's it really feels like a John Waters esque type movie with a group of friends making a silly, offensive movie. And for that, I think it's really good. I know everybody has a comfort movie and everything, and I hate to admit it. No, I don't. Uh, Necromantic is probably mine. I can watch this pretty much anytime. It's so hilarious. The ending of this movie, if you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it, but it's bizarre and hilarious. And if you have seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, Everything about it is just so over the top and gross and silly, and it's just a lot of fun. Um, it really holds up well. Um, yeah, you're gonna see Um, a lot people kind of write off this movie occasionally, and some other people take it way too seriously. And I don't know which side I would fall on. I definitely wouldn't write it off, but I don't know if I would take it as seriously as some people. I think it's just a fun black comedy B movie. Um, but if you want to look deeper into it, more power to you. Yeah, it's just one of my favorites. And something that you're gonna see across your Bucharites for major films is that he's completely unafraid to offend you. Sometimes intentionally does so, but there's always an interesting concept. And he's even if you don't like the concept of the film or anything like that, you have to admire the devotion that he has to his craft. Um, and for a low budget independent movie shot on pretty much with no money by a group of young people, this is a fantastic movie. It's a classic of extreme cinema, and honestly, I would even say it's a good entry point to extreme cinema. For a lot of people, not too bad, but gross enough that it's going to offend your more sensitive friends. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on Necromantic there. It's one of my favorite movies. Should definitely check it out. What was it? Cult Epics has a really good Blu-ray release of it if you want a copy. Arrow Video also did a release of 1, 2, Shram, and Der Toadskink individually, I believe. Don't hold me to that, but I know they have a um, Love and Death Films of Jörg Bucharest, I believe is what it's called in the UK. I have that one as well. And yeah, you should really check this one out if you haven't. It's a lot of fun. It's a movie that I come back to frequently, and yeah, it's just never let me down. It really started me on like my love for Jörg Bucharest's other work, as well as um, did it, not even anything super uh, crazy. Didn't really get me further into extreme cinema, but it sort of strengthened my love, if you want to say. Um, yeah, it's really good. It's a very very good little movie. The special effects, I want to touch on that really quick too. For the budget of the film and what they were working with, the special effects are really good. The mix of some of the real stuff and the no obviously fake stuff is kind of fun. It's a nice contrast, and yeah, it may not be as streamlined or polished as Jörg Bucharest's other movies, but it's certainly one of his most charming. So come back later this week for some more Jörg Bucharest reviews. As always, I'm Herschel Gillis signing off for today. Zero thoughts, zero editing, and zero planning. Thanks, guys.